Woo! What a win for Big Red. What a win over the Chargers that was. A team that lost against the Chiefs and the Steelers. The Cardinals stopped the run. The Cardinals played very physical football. The offense was garbage, a complete disaster. Tetzing was a terrible offensive coordinator. What the hell was he thinking on the fourth down call? The Phillies sneak, whatever. You have James Conner. He runs very hard. He played with the Steelers. He played with the Pittsburgh Panthers. You allow the read option on fourth down. You can't go away from the read option. We don't see enough read options. When we're not seeing it from this team, and we should be seeing a lot better from this offense. This defense looked pretty beleaguered, but today, against a team that lost against the Steelers and lost against the Chiefs, the Cardinals answered the bell against a playoff contender, the LA Chargers, and they played great defensively. This defense looked anything like a competent NFL defense, but maybe Jonathan Gannon had to tinker a little bit, figure out which play calls work with the given personnel, and let's try to build an identity. And I think a lot was accomplished from this Cardinals defense today. And say what you want about the interception that looked like it was going to be returned for a touchdown, but he fumbled it, and the Cardinals got the ball back. The Chargers guy caught the deep pass, but he fumbled, and it resulted in a touchback. This Cardinals team, defensively, even if they're not the most talented team, they play with a lot of heart and grit and determination. So this defense plays like champions. They don't give up on any play out there. It looks like the 49ers are going to run out the clock, start running the ball, picking up first downs, wearing out the Cardinal defensive line. But what happened? They didn't give up on the play. He stripped the ball of Trey Mason, and the Cardinals recovered the fumble, and that resulted in the Cardinals driving to kick the game-winning field goal. Again, this team never gives up on the play on the field, and so we've seen a lot from this Cardinals team. It's a huge win. The Niners and the Cardinals are tied 3-4 because I knew the Niners were going to lose against the Chargers. Now, there's no guarantee Seahawks were going to win. How often do you get all the help you need on any given week in the NFL? Well, even though the Seahawks win, they're still 1-2 against the division. The Cardinals are 2-0 against the division. The Seahawks are 1-3 against the NFC, while the Cardinals have 2 wins against the NFC. So the Cardinals have all the tiebreaker advantages, even though Seattle won. So the Cardinals, and it doesn't matter if the Cardinals lose against Tua in Miami. I think Tua's coming back next week because the Seahawks, are they really going to lose against the Bills? So it doesn't even matter if they lose against Tua in Miami, and Miami is suddenly back in the playoff picture because Seattle, they're playing against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, and you're not beating the Buffalo Bills when you have a mediocre Seahawks defense. So the Cardinals are in driving distance of the division, and it is going to be a flex game week 18. The Cardinals and the Niners going to decide the division week 18 of the season. I guarantee it. These two teams going to be competing for the division. The Cardinals going to beat the 49ers in week 18 of the season. Just take a look at the schedules. Cardinals are not some slapdick team anymore. How do we know that? The Cardinals narrowly lost against the Lions. They shut down the Lion running game. That was a week where the defense played great. Against the Bills, they narrowly lost against the Bills. They played the Washington Commanders. So every team the Cardinals lost to was a playoff team. And they beat the 49ers, and they beat the LA Chargers, who looked pretty damn good against the Chiefs. It looked like they were going to beat the Steelers, but then Justin Herbert got injured. So this Cardinal team is for real. Even when they don't have talent on defense, they look for real. And this team should be getting Marvin Harrison the ball some more. Cardinals ran the ball very well. Kyler Murray made timely plays. In December, the Cardinals play the Panthers and they play the Patriots. And the 49ers still have to play the Bills and they have to play the Lions. So don't sleep on the NFC West. The NFL is planning something big with this NFC West. Their script calls for Cardinals and Niners to play for the division in Week 18 of the season. You got to have your moments in this rivalry against the 49ers. So the Cardinals are going to beat the 49ers in Week 18. Cardinals are going to win this division. And it's a very interesting question. McCaffrey may come back in a few weeks, but Fraud Turdy looks like a mediocre quarterback who can't win when his stars are hurt. So this is a system quarterback that the 49ers have right now. He can't win games without McCaffrey. He can't win games when his receivers like Ayuk get hurt. He's not Patrick Mahomes. His wide receivers can get hurt. Even Travis Kelce can get hurt, but he finds a way to win, like Tom Brady when he had weak receivers with the Patriots. This is why Fraud Turdy's a joke. He's a system quarterback. He had a long-ass talk with Kyle Shanahan after the game. Kyle's basically telling them when all these stars leave the team, you're left on the hook. You have to deliver. And basically, he's not that guy, period. How many more injuries are the Niners going to deal with? Is Trey McBride hurt for the Cardinals? Is James Conner hurt? The key offensive players are not injured for the Cardinals. They've had a key young pass rusher injured, but it seems like the Niners have gotten the brunt of the injuries. Even the LA Rams is a team that can stay in contention for the division. If the Vikings lose, they're still in the playoff picture, but suddenly the LA Rams are still in the conversation for the NFC West. So I would not be surprised to see the LA Rams win on Thursday because it is a home game and the Vikings have gotten beaten up pretty good after a divisional game and they have to travel and fly out to LA. And you still have John McVay and you still have Matthew Stafford. So this LA Rams defense is coming off of a strong defensive performance. And this Rams team has some Super Bowl pedigree. So it would not surprise me to see the Rams beat the Vikings next week. Even though it's the NFC North and all of this, still the Rams are battling for their playoff lives, and it is Matt Stafford. I just happen to think if the NFL is really that rigged that the LA Rams have to stay in the conversation for the NFC West. LA fans are not interested in sub 500 teams, but if you're still in the driver's seat in the NFC West, already having beaten the 49ers, you're still going to be interested in the Rams when you live in LA. So from the perspective of keeping the fan interest in LA, it won't surprise me to see the Rams come out and have a strong defensive performance against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football. Because how does the Viking team respond after a loss? You've seen how they did when they were winning games. How can the Vikings shake off a loss? We about to find out on Thursday. Sam Darnold could have killed off the game, but he didn't kill off the game. It was a 3-and-out, and the Lions got the ball back. Remember, the Lions had to punt the ball, but Sam Darnold didn't finish the game. So what's Sam Darnold made of on Thursday? The one thing going well for the Vikings is that they're not going up against an Aaron Donald that has retired. And so again, it's the Dolphins are going to beat the Cardinals next week, but then the Seahawks in first place are going to lose against the Bills. And the Niners are going to beat the Cowboys. So the Niners it's another week in the NFC West. So even if the Rams win, even if the Rams beat the Vikings, I still think Cardinals can lose to Miami. I hope they beat Miami, but they'll probably lose against Miami. But they're at square one because the Seahawks would lose against the Buffalo Bills. And the 49ers are not beating Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans in Tampa Bay. This team is for real. But the Baltimore Ravens are on a whole other level. So even if the Niners beat the Cowboys, this Cowboys team is one of the most mediocre teams in the conference. Tampa Bay has a pretty strong team. They're up 10-0 against the Ravens, and they're jacking up. They're twiddling their dicks. This 49er defense has taken a step back where Baker can shred that 49er defense. It is every given week in the NFC West. But the Cardinals get the Jets. And this team is anything but a playoff contender. I thought the Jets would be a hard game for the Cardinals, but an interim coach is mediocre. Even if Cards lose with Tua back, that's not a game I would bet on next week. I did bet on the Cardinals today, and I won. I'm not betting on the Cardinals at Miami. I'm going to save the bet for beating the Bears and a rookie quarterback at home, and this Cardinal defense would be rejuvenated, and they would find some identity to where they'll beat the Bears. So I think that's the next game Cardinals win is against the Bears, and they'll probably lose in Tua's return because Tua's going to rally Miami. Winers lose. They beat the Cowboys, but the Winers are going to lose against Tampa. That's the rigging that's going to happen in the NFC West. For you two people here, that's what's going to happen in the NFC West. Because teams will win and lose on different weeks. Cardinals may lose this upcoming week, but they have tiebreaker advantages. But then Seahawks have the hard opponent this week. The Niners have a hard opponent the following week. No one's going to pick the Cowboys beat the Winers anyway. San Francisco is going to beat them by 20 points. I think if it's rigged for betting, if the Niners win by 20 points, everyone bets on them against the Bucs. Perfect. Tampa Bay's going to find a way to beat San Francisco. Larry Fitzgerald would have broken his record, but he played with many mediocre quarterbacks. Fitzgerald wasn't far off from the all-time reception record. Fitzgerald is the greatest receiver who's ever played in the NFL. This guy's a dynamic athlete. People say it's Fitzgerald. Some people say it's Calvin Johnson. But for me, it's Larry Fitzgerald because he's played with a lot of garbage quarterbacks. He didn't have Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer for his entire career. He played 3 or 4 years without Warner. But he didn't start out with Kurt Warner that we knew him to be. 2004, but 04, 05, 06, 07, then 2008. 2011, team was terrible. 2012, they were terrible. 2013, Carson Palmer was learning the offense, but 2014 came along. That's when Larry Fitzgerald, he wasn't in his prime. He had to play in the slot with Bruce Arians. So Fitzgerald would easily break in the record if he played with great quarterbacks his entire career. Calvin Johnson, he had Matthew Stafford throughout his entire career. You know, he had Stafford every single year. Well, yeah, the defense answered the call today against the Chargers. It was that moment of Murray magic that won the game for Arizona on that 44-yard scramble. How many people just straight up bet Ravens and Chargers? When the favorite won the first game, that was your answer as to whether the Cardinals were going to win the second game or not. And the answer was yes, because both favorites were not going to win this Monday. One of the favorites was going to go down. And so many people were ignorant about the Cardinals. They knew nothing about how they battled hard against the Bills and the Lions and defeated the 49ers. So this game was never a given for the LA Chargers. So it's about being prepared, doing your research, looking into both teams. That's how you do it. And my Monday was perfect. My only blemish was, I think, the Falcons to beat Seattle and the Jets to beat the Steelers. Those are my only two wrong calls this past week. So I did great. The Cardinals did beat the Chargers and they delivered. But I think with Tua back, I have to change my pick. I haven't done the prediction video yet, but anyway, they'll probably lose against the Dolphins, and that will settle that. But they'll beat the Bears the following week. So yeah, what a win! The division's gonna come down to San Francisco, Arizona, week 18 midnight, and by within 24 hours or so, I think I'll have the picks out for next week. I didn't have the picks out because I was out at Sim Sports Grill celebrating my friend's birthday. I paid everything, paid for his meal, everything, and the last kick of the game, we won. So what a hell of a night that was. What a big win for the Cardinals. They are in the driver's seat in the NFC West. With or without winning at Miami, we are in the driver's seat. When you play Carolina and New England in December, when you're 2-0 against division with these tiebreakers, this is why the Cardinals are afforded a little room of error. Because they're 2-0 against division, and this is one of the first tiebreakers that there is. The Seahawks are 1-3 against the conference. The Cardinals played the Bills, but Seattle has to play the Bills, and the 49ers have to play the Bills. Cardinals played the Lions. The Niners have to play the Lions. That's why the Cardinals are in a very advantageous situation, even when the Tua will probably most likely beat the Cardinals next week. And I think Tua does beat the Cardinals next week. But because Seattle loses against the Bills, they're in the same position as they are today within a game of the division. It's a very long season. It's an 18-week season. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You get to October, but it's November and December and the first week of January. It's a long, long, long season.